Today is Saturday, August 27th, 2016. And I got some crazy news for you. NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick, a man who was worth $119 million per his contract, who gets paid $20 million per year, decided to sit down during the National Anthem during Friday's preseason game. Now, his reasoning for this, if you're looking at him, yes, he is black, he's biracial, but I assume he identifies with being black. If he didn't have all the hair on his face, in this picture right here you see, he probably does not look that black to you. You wouldn't really know he's black unless he told you, but I digress. Now, getting into this, his reasoning for not standing up during the National Anthem is as follows. I'm not going to stand up and show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color. To me, this is bigger than football, and it would be selfish on my part to look the other way. There are bodies in the street and people getting paid leave and getting away with murder. So basically, he's one of these guys that believes in, the whole hands up, don't shoot. He didn't do nothing. He believes in that. He believes in the whole Black Lives Matter mantra. This is why I call them Black Lies, because the lies they perpetuate, people like Colin Kaepernick will believe. And Colin Kaepernick, realistically, is too much of an important person, financially and to the game. Well, not so much to the game, because realistically, he's not that good of a quarterback, in my humble opinion. I mean, he's a decent quarterback. He's had flashes, but I think he's overpaid. But I digress. I won't get into a whole sports talk here. But the point is, this is somebody that is a celebrity, right? You have importance just based on the fact that you are an NFL football player and you have a high visibility. So for you to be out here parroting black lies from Black Lives Matter is really dangerous, because you're going to be able to reach children. You'll be able to reach just individuals, people that watch the 49ers play, people in San Francisco, the Bay Area, Oakland. You can start problems with your rhetoric, with your beliefs. This is what happens with Black Lives Matter. This is what they do. They perpetuate things like this, and guys like Colin Kaepernick are just going to blindly follow it. And I said this in my video with Tommy Lauren about Black Lives Matter and what they perpetuate. I mean, you got the George Soroses of the world who are basically leading the whole thing. And the leaders of the Black Lives Matter organization are essentially sycophants to them, because they take money from the George Soroses of the world. It's like a clearinghouse. And then at the end of the day, George Soros runs it. So whatever he wants, whatever other donors, big time political people, big wig political operatives, whatever they want, that's going to be what happens, right? And it trickles down to guys like Colin Kaepernick, who really have no excuse for believing these lies, but some people just aren't mentally strong enough to understand what's going on. So the end result is, making a spectacle of the NFL game, embarrassing a team on TV, embarrassing a nation on TV, and making it to the point where now you have individuals that follow what he does blindly, not even really knowing what's going on, not even understanding or thinking about the fact that there are many people of all different colors that currently fight for that flag, people that die for that flag, right? Just because you think of some Black Lives Matter movement is going to get you, make you feel better about yourself. And I see this a lot in a lot of these biracial guys. A lot of these biracial guys, what they end up doing, if they become radicalized with the racial rhetoric, they're worse than everybody, because they got a point to prove. Maybe his whole life he's been growing up thinking that he's not quite black enough. The same thing is true with Jesse Williams. I said that about him as well. He feel like he's not all the way black. Like, you could see me, I'm all the way black. If you see me, you would not think of anything other than black. But Jesse Williams, it's a question mark. Is he black? Is he white? What's going on? Same thing with Colin Kaepernick, right? You see his facial features. You see his skin tone. You see all the hair he has on his face. Now all the hair he has on his face, maybe he has a tan, he looks like he's more black. But then when he cuts the hair, it's wintertime, he has no tan. I mean, for real, I didn't even know he was black. I had to ask people, like, is he black? I had no idea, right? I mean, some people are obviously white, like Peyton Manning or somebody like that, who's a good guy, Peyton Manning, great quarterback. And other guys who are obviously black, like Randy Moss, another great guy from my hometown of Rand, West Virginia. So shout out to you. Shout out to Rand University, but I digress. The whole point is, certain people are able to identify clearly with what they are, with a particular racial group, but guys like Justice Williams, Colin Kaepernick, not so much. So then when Black Lives Matter comes around, it kind of scratches an itch they have for belonging, for being able to identify with the group, for being able to identify with a group and make so-called positive changes. But really all you're doing is just making racial tension become more. All you're doing is embarrassing the game, the beautiful game of football. You're embarrassing the NFL. You're embarrassing the nation. You're embarrassing the 49ers. And you're embarrassing the other team as well. You're embarrassing everybody, right? And all it's going to do at the end of the day, beyond just the optics of it, the embarrassment, all it's going to do is make tensions worse and get more blacks killed, because now you're going to have blacks out there in the hood, uneducated, lost. They look at guys like Colin Kaepernick as some kind of role model. Then they're going to go out there and pattern their behavior after that. They're going to try to confront the police, fight the police, pick fights with white people just because they don't like them because of the racial rhetoric and because of their own, hatred on the inside. It's like if you have a room full of explosives, it's just sitting there waiting for a match to strike and light all of them off. The first person who was wrong was the person who assembled all the explosives in the room. Whoever was the person that purchased the explosives and put them in the room and left them there, they're wrong. But the other person who comes in with a match to strike and light the explosive is also wrong, right? It takes two. And Colin Kaepernick, Jesse Williams, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, all these guys are just the match. And the pre-existing hatred for whites, for police, and the pre-existing problems that happen in the black community, that's the bombs. That's the fuses that are waiting to be lit. So you create a dangerous situation when you have both the igniter and the fuel, the accelerant. When it comes together, you got a terrible situation. So that's pretty much all I got to say about it. Colin Kaepernick, you should be ashamed of yourself. How dare you disrespect the nation like that? You don't even know who's out there. I got family in the military. I got family in public service. People that risk their lives every day, day in and day out to save people just like you, right? When you go to these NFL games, you got security outside, people that represent that flag and bleed red, white, and blue to save you, to protect you and your family members. So you need to check yourself, man, because really, at the end of the day, if you say that you're a pro-black and you want what's best for the black community, you would not make things worse by promoting any kind of racial tension or conflict. That's all I got to say about it. What say you? Do you think that Colin Kaepernick was in the right to not stand up for the national anthem during the preseason game? If so, why do you think that? And what would be the end result if you think that what he did was good, right? What would be the end result? What's going to be the conclusion to what he did? How is that going to stop black folks from getting shot and killed? And it ain't by the cops. A black person being shot and killed by police is rare. Most black folks get shot and killed by other black folks. And before you get into the whole thing about, well, most whites kill whites, whatever, I'm talking about less than 13% of the population responsible for over half of all the murder. In reality, it's mostly black males between the ages of 15 and 34 killing other black males in the same age group and everyone else at a disproportionate rate. So you're talking about 3% of the population or less, give or take, responsible for over half of all the murder. That is a chief problem, not the police. The police should be praised. The police should be uplifted, because the reality is the police are the last bastion of hope. They're the last line of defense between the uncivilized in the black community and the civilized. That's the truth, right? But do you agree with me? Do you think that what I'm saying is on point? Are you upset at Colin Kaepernick? Do you think that he should be cut from the 49ers? I do. I think that if you're making that kind of money, you got a responsibility to not only perform on the field athletically, but to also perform in other ways that do not involve the football being thrown or your legs running on the grass, right? You got to perform and represent your state, represent your city, your team well, right? You can't be having little incidents like this. This is like prima donna kid stuff that happens in high school, college. So you can't be a professional athlete doing stuff like this. Keep your political iterations out of football. And hopefully the NFL will fine him for this, because look at what happened to Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was a good quarterback in my opinion. He wasn't the best quarterback ever that you ever seen in your life, but he was good. I mean, he got the Broncos deep into the playoffs, deeper than what Peyton got them the year after that. Now, of course, Peyton won the ring after that, but you understand what I'm saying. He was a decent quarterback for what he did, right? He didn't have the best mechanics in the world, but I digress. The whole point is he was a good quarterback, in my humble opinion, and he showed improved. He's no longer in the NFL because of his Christian leanings, right? He will always kind of like pray on the field. He was heavily Christian. Now, if you want to blackball him for being Christian, surely you must blackball Mr. Colin Kaepernick for being anti-American. I mean, what's worse, being a devout Christian and loving people, or being anti-American because you think they're racist against black people? Whatever your comments are, let me know in the comments below. That's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.